NHS has a culture of silence around woke ideology. Let's see.
I'm delighted now to be joined by the woman mentioned in my big opinion monologue, NHS nurse and psychotherapist Amy Gallagher. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on the programme. To what extent has this woke culture infiltrated the NHS in your view?
Oh, a considerable amount. I mean, with regards to the report that you were mentioning, it found that there's 10,000 so-called equality diversity roles in the public sector, and that this costs the taxpayer £500 million, which could, the report laid this out quite nicely, could go on around 12 city roles. Found that there's 10,000 so-called equality diversity roles in the public sector, and that this costs the taxpayer £500 million, which
she's having an issue with having diversity roles. We need diversity roles, yeah. And throw all these numbers about all you want, but show what percentage they are of actually the rest of the people being hired, yeah. All the white people for a start, yeah. This is big red flags, big red flags for generically calling out diversity roles. That's extremely right wing.
Which could, the report laid this out quite nicely, could go on around 12,000, paying the salaries of 12,500 nurses. So in the first instance, all this equality and diversity and inclusion is actually, stopping the NHS from increasing its workforce because it costs so much. And then on top of that, it doesn't even do what it says on the tin. It says it's about equality, diversity and inclusion, but actually some of the ideas that it pushes are extremely...
Let me get to a couple of these comments though, actually, because I've missed quite a few. We're going back to the equality conversations we were having. Chris Hayes said, yeah, I get that about politicians. That's all about family, bloodlines, etc. Groomed for it. For example, when I was a kid, 2 people out of a class would go to uni. Now it's the opposite. I don't know if it's the vast opposite, to be honest, now, though. It's not completely. A lot more do go, and they're all getting themselves into ridiculous debt in order to do it, right? Which creates more inequality. So now you're literally you're in the half that are in debt, while the other half are living off of you. And then Stephen Trafford said, but it's not just politicians. Nearly every company, bank are run by CEOs that come from the same small pool of elite. The system is built on exploitation and only works with underclass. Yeah, exactly. It only works if we exist here to fund it and keep it running. So it only works based on inequality. Our entire society is based on inequality. Capitalism, yeah? We live in a system of capitalism. Capitalism as a structure it is a structure of inequality, and it only works with inequality. If you want to know more, check out Professor Mark Blythe. He doesn't just tell you what's going on, but why and how it's come about. So he's claiming each diversity. So she's now Stevens. This was more recent comments about this. So she's claiming each diversity role in London is earning roughly 50k a year. I smell BS. I'm in the public sector. That type of role is around 30 to 37k depending on geography. Yeah, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's like, this could pay for this many nurses. Cool. Well, the role is supposed to be getting more nurses that we need into place, right? And that kind of thing. Those roles are there to get the right nurses into place, to make sure people have the right representation and stuff around them. So you're throwing big numbers around, like 50k here. It sounds crazy to her audience, who are people without money. She's trying to get to vote for her. Those numbers sound crazy, but it's actually not crazy when you're dealing with a big corporation. That's why I said, tell me how much money is spent on nurses. Tell me what percentage of that is compared to this. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, because it's not that crazy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even talk about my work and all of that separate from this, but I have a company separate with a number of employees that work for us. Do you know what I'm saying? I pay people that much. That's their job. It's a salary. You know what I'm saying? That don't make it out to be like she's trying to make it compare to like it should be a nurse. This person shouldn't exist. So basically, this diversity person shouldn't exist so that this white person can get everything. And Gleam said, serious though. Should we do another clap at 8 p.m? That would be a massive recruitment drive for them. Clap for the NHS. No, we shouldn't do that either. Let's carry on what the hell she's talking about.
discriminatory and nefarious. And certainly in my case, with my lawsuit, they're pushing ideas of critical race theory.
Anyone who shouts critical race theory as a negative gets a red flag. This girl is running her whole campaign on hashtags, right-wing hashtags. Yeah, this is another thing. Another term: identity politics, critical race theory. These are all terms they push on the left as if the left are pushing them, but they're just summaries. The words that summarize things that they think the left are doing and create and that kind of enveloping it as a negative, but it's not a negative. Yeah, critical race theory is like she means us talking about racism and addressing racism in society and addressing racism in the NHS. She doesn't want us doing that. She wants to work for the Tavistock, a place dealing with people's mental health, and not have racism addressed in that place. Scumbag. Stephen said Labour cost the NHS it's 66.1 bill. Labour cost of the NHS. Okay, I thought you were talking about Labour for a minute there. Labour cost of the NHS is 66.1 billion 2023. So yeah, like look at when she's talking about her little 50 grand, like it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like the big money is there. And what we really need to be looking at, again, every single time they do this, oh my God, I've just clocked it. They do this every time. Yeah. It's same if I put on a video about her and immigration, they'll be putting out numbers of how much immigration costs us to make us blame the migrants. Yeah. And to blame immigration for why we ain't got money. Then at the same time, what they're doing here is making us blame the diversity role, yeah? Making us blame the person with the diversity role, who essentially is going to be a black person, an Asian person, yeah, a lot of the time. Women, people who are in these roles who need to understand the diversity they're trying to create. They're trying to make us blame that person for money that we think we should have, yeah? But how much of that 66 billion do you think goes to the bosses? How much of it goes to, you know what I'm saying? That the people taking the money are the ones who went to Eton. They're the elite people that Stephen's talking about here. They're the higher up people in these companies. How much do they pay themselves? Yeah? Because it's not just 50 grand. It's not just 50 grand. And there's more of them than there is that, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot more money going in rich people's pockets in the NHS and in all of these things than anything is going to a diversity role. Like, get the hell out of it. Stephen Trafford said, so less than 1% of the overall Labour budget is diversity roles. And actually, he just said that's the Labour budget, yeah? So maybe that's not even the budget that goes to the higher-ups and all of that. But I'm sure they're still pocketing some of it along the way. Gleam said the CEO of HS2 was the highest-paid cabinet office minister on $642,000 a year. What's HS2? This is showing how ignorant I am in all of this. I don't even know what HS2 is, but I'm imagining that's connected, right? But it's a cabinet office minister. Yeah, so these people are paying themselves, yeah, coming up to like $750,000. And you're making us attack. You want to make us attack the diversity role. You're having a laugh. She is catering straight to racists. That's all she's doing. Catering to racists because she is one. There, I said it. I called her a racist. Red flag for me. They always go, oh my God, you call everyone racist. Yeah, she is one. Stephen said, dude, 2008, the reasons why we're effed was because of single mothers, benefit scroungers or tax cheats, justified austerity. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You said it all there for me, man. I'm saying that's what it was before. Benefit scroungers. Always blame the poor, blame women. You know what I'm saying? Blame immigration. Gleam said a high-speed train project which failed. Okay, that's what HS2 was. Yeah, I'm saying these people are just make up their roles and put all this money in their pockets, and you want us to be worried about a diversity role. We haven't even got we've got 1 minute into this video. I want to see the rest.
Which are not about equality. It's actually treating people differently. So it's completely a waste of money, in my opinion.
1 second. So I'll just press something to turn the volume down. She's just a generic racist off of YouTube. It's not about equality. It's treating people differently. Yes, treating people based on inequality that they face. That's not treating people differently. That's about equality. She's like a generic. This is like King of Sting running for mayor. Yeah, if King of Sting was a woman. Like, how stupid can you be? But she knows that all those stupid people are out there that think like this, so she can cater to them. Absolute madness.
So it's completely waste of money, in my opinion, and actually does quite a considerable amount of harm, I would say.
What is your situation now? Because I understand that you were forced to do these workshops whilst studying. So what is your relationship with the NHS right now?
Yeah, so I'm still working as a nurse. There was attempts to have me struck off as a nurse because I disagreed with white privilege and I disagreed with the idea that all white people are racist.
Lie. Let's just bluntly put it there. She's a liar. You're running for mayor, but you're a liar. Yeah? She summarized two things there. She named them as two different things, but they're the same thing. She disagreed with white privilege. Yeah, nobody was firing you for being disagreed with white privilege for a start. That's a lie. Yeah, and then she went, I disagreed that all white people are racist. Yeah, nobody actually says all white people are racist, and like definitely not in a professional setting like that. The people who are explaining, and I have done it. Don't get me wrong. I will say all white people are racist. I shouldn't say that on YouTube. Gosh, they blocked my video. But when I say that, and if I say that, I'm saying it to explain what white privilege is, that all white people benefit from racism. It's much more nuanced than that comment. Yeah. So she's then tried to just break it down to something that will trigger everybody and make all these like actual racist white people get behind her. Yeah. She's literally saying all the buzzwords you could bloody imagine. Stephen Trafford said 134 bill for track and trace. Yeah, which was absolutely pointless and useless, and they knew it.
But I've been suspended from my training course, training to be a psychotherapist, and that's still, I don't know what's the outcome of that.
No, 100, like, yeah. Yo, if you are standing there saying you don't understand the concepts of white privilege, that all this stuff she's saying about treating people based on racism is treating them differently, all that kind of generic, dumb racist mentality, you should not be allowed to be a psychotherapist. You should not. You should have your... Yeah, that's real... Forget cancel culture. That's real life. You have to be trained to do a job properly. I 100% believe you shouldn't be allowed to be a police if that's the case. Because then if we didn't let people who actually have those ideals be police, then we wouldn't have the whole racist police structure. You shouldn't be allowed to be a police. You shouldn't be allowed to be an MP. You shouldn't be allowed to be a teacher. You shouldn't be allowed to be a nurse. Definitely shouldn't be allowed to be a psychotherapist. No way. None of the people who think that should be allowed to be these things. But guess what? We live in a society which is the opposite, where all of the majority of people doing all those things think like that. So we're in a complete mess.
That's going to be. I don't know whether I'll be able to qualify as a psychotherapist.
But she's allowed to run for mayor. You're not even allowed to be a psychotherapist because actually you will do damage to people. If you're dealing with people, someone's coming to you for help, for mental health support, and they are dealing with systems of racism that is literally causing them mental damage, and you sit there and you're actually part of the problem that causes it. Of course you shouldn't be allowed to have that job, but you're allowed to run for mayor, which is going to impact all of us. Absolute joke. That's what I'm saying. There is no... How can a person be allowed to run for mayor on an anti-woke hashtag campaign? It's a joke.
There's still negotiations going on, and obviously I've got my legal team are involved, so I don't know whether I'm going to be allowed to become a psychotherapist, but essentially they've said I'm not appropriate because I don't have the right views, and my views are not I just don't think that we should be scapegoating whole groups of people based on their religion or their race. These are views that most people hold.
But they don't consider that they're scapegoating them, do they? You are adding the scapegoat part to their life experience. You're calling their life experience scapegoating, which is disgusting. This woman's a cretin, man.
Critical race theory is just that. It's a theory. It's not fact. But it seems that in certain quarters of the NHS, it's now being sold as fact. And we're seeing a similar situation with gender ideology, where top medics will have you believe that a biological man can become a biological woman. Again, factually impossible, scientifically impossible, but that's what's being taught in the NHS.
I don't think that is actually even what's being taught. I think they used the word biology wrong there. Because I think gender and biology are two different things, and they're mixing them together in order to uphold their and uphold their kind of fascism and bigotry, they throw in the biology part when actually what's being taught is that gender is a separate thing and that gender is a spectrum or whatever. But these guys have to kind of make up the thing to have it their way. Gosh, what do you expect from GB News?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think within the area of both race and gender, which comes under the heading of equality and diversity and inclusion, there are ideas that are being pushed that are not evidence-based and actually reject evidence. They don't accept evidence, and actually they see evidence as...
Like, for example, and I can look this up, I don't know the statistics over the top of my head, but as a black woman, you are way more likely to die during child labour. Yeah, that's a fact. That is evidence-based. It's a fact. Yeah, any of you can go look it up, tell me the numbers. As a black woman, you are much more likely to die during child labour. Why is that? Because nurses, like her, are racist and don't treat them with the same care. So you're more likely to have a complication because the person hasn't cared to you properly, literally because of how we're trained, yeah? Because of inequality, because of white supremacy, because of white privilege, yeah? Because of how these people, how their brains work and how she's been actually programmed her entire life. But she wants to sit here and like pretend, oh yeah, it's not based on fact. Like, yes, it's based on fact. And that's what it's to do with. And that's why we need diversity. But she doesn't care about that. She wants to let them women die. Sick woman.
Part of the white supremacy system of oppression or whatever. And actually it's just pushing an ideology.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a fact. Like, it's pushing a fact to say these women are dying in this situation much more than these. So we have to do something about that. It's not an ideology. It's based in fact. So she's just lying. She's literally lying, and she just doesn't want us to address it.
Christianity is racist because it's European. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously it's actually not a European religion, but some of these people really don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, this is whole part of generally what's called critical social justice, which is an attack on Western values and particular groups.
Plenty of your fellow students would reject the nonsense to which you were subjected, but they've not had your courage to speak up. That's the point, isn't it? You're not a lone voice. You're the one that's put your head above the parapet.
Yeah, that's right. And since I've been in the media and since I've been raising money for my crowdfund, I've had so many people contact me, so many nurses and psychologists and psychotherapists saying essentially, I completely agree with you. I'm so...
Do you know how much when you speak to black women about therapy, how much they will tell you that they can't really go to therapy because therapists don't understand their experience. I've heard it so many times. You know what I'm saying, because I'm in those kind of communities having these conversations, and like in my kind of social circles, even online and all that, I've seen that written so many times. Yeah. That's why, because this is who's there. And that's why she shouldn't be a psychotherapist. And that's why I've had so many psychotherapists, all these people come out and tell me this. Yeah, because they're all shit at their job. They're all terrible. We need to get rid of them and get better. Yeah, we really, really need the diversity roles, not just the diversity roles, but those diversity roles need to be enhanced more. They need to be given more funding for them to actually be able to train and getting people to actually deliver this work properly, because they're not doing it. They are failing, and they have been failing forever. Absolutely ridiculous.
Sorry, this has happened to you. I feel like I can't speak out. I feel like I have to go along with these ideas, and I thought I was the only one. And actually, there's a lot of people saying I think I'm the only one, but actually there's a lot of them that all think that. So there is just a culture of silence, I think, around woke ideology still within the NHS.
Around woke ideology, man. From time you just come out with a generic hashtag about woke, you're an idiot. Absolute clown. Enough of that woman now.